Today I'm going to talk about the characteristics of starseeds or wanderer souls. People that are wanderer souls or starseeds are souls that came from somewhere else, from elsewhere, came to the earth, and the purpose is to incarnate in a body and help raise the consciousness of the planet. Starseeds come to this planet with a mission. Depending on where they come from, they might come from fifth dimension, which is characterized by wisdom, or they might come from fourth dimension, which is characterized by love, or they might come from sixth dimension, which is characterized by a lack of polarity, meaning all is one. When starseeds come to this planet, they choose to come here, and they are sometimes referred to as the brothers and sisters of sorrow, because when they come, sometimes they forget who they are. I call this getting lost in the forgetting. And they get involved in earth karma and they forget why they came, and they then can't complete their mission. But every starseed that has come here has specially encoded genes, and these genes can become activated or awaken. And then when the person figures out what their mission is and why they came here, they become a very, very powerful force. These souls often have many different characteristics that help to set them apart. And they very often feel very alienated here, and they feel like they don't belong, and they feel very, very unhappy about being here unless they figure out what their purpose is or why they're here. So I'm going to go over 30 possible characteristics that might resonate with you. And if they do, you might want to check into the phenomenon of wanderer souls more deeply. So the first one is you feel ancient to the core, like you have existed forever. You are soul weary and have a sense of simply wanting to go home. You remember what home feels like, even if you can't verbalize it or you can't describe it in a logical sense. You felt very unique as a child, like nobody else was like you. You felt like it was segregated into them and you, them versus you. You may have even felt special or higher regardless of your social stature. You had paranormal and psychic experiences as far back as you can remember, like seeing ghosts or entities, seeing interdimensionally at times, seeing beyond the illusion, reading others' thoughts, dreams that came true, UFO sightings, alien encounters, and so on. Your strong sense of empathy is almost too much at times. Your body functions differently than others. It is more finely tuned and has a habit of reacting like no one else's. Doctors are often stumped by you, and a natural lifestyle is the way to go for you to maintain your good health. You're very intelligent, but not necessarily interested in academics. You struggle to find what you want to do with your life because nothing in this reality really intrigues you enough to be dedicated to it. A part of you remembers so much more that life here is often very boring. You have trouble being in touch with your body, or its limitations frustrate you because you remember far more freedom. Part of you feels like you should be able to fly, teleport, or instantaneously manifest. You've known as far back as you can remember that you had a purpose or a mission to fulfill. Even though the details might be elusive, you have an extraordinary dream life, and waking life seems very dull in comparison. You may not be welcomed or accepted by humans, and others are often wary of you. You were most likely singled out as a child and bullied or ignored. Friends were and are often very few and far between. People instinctually know you are different, even if they don't understand why. You may have felt alienated within your own family or even had issues with one or both of your parents. You often feel connected to another place or time and long for something deeper in your life. You have an understanding of the divine beyond books, beyond religion, even if you can't put it into words. Spirituality is part of you. It is inseparable, and it's not learned, but it's definitely built upon. You didn't wake up to your spiritual self because your spirituality has always been an intrinsic part of your life. You know that your origins are not human. You can read people without them even needing to speak. You can simply feel who they are, which is why you cannot be lied to. You see beyond the facade, and that makes people uncomfortable around you. You're an object of fascination for babies and small children who may be drawn to you. You are naturally trusted by animals, and you easily understand their wants and needs as if you could communicate with them on some level. You're frustrated by conversation because you know what the other person is going to say long before they say it. This often makes you seem rude in conversation, either appearing disinterested or butting in and answering the question before it's completed. You might seem aloof to some until they get to know you and find you're actually very warm and loving. You have created certain protective elements to survive in society because you find being around people very hard, even painful at times, and you can only handle large crowds of people in very brief doses. You might be aware that you're an ascended, interdimensional being here to assist humanity at this time, and you may have some memories of your incarnations on this earth leading up to this time. This knowledge is within you. You have natural healing abilities, whether it is physical and with your hands or comfort with your words. You often find random strangers telling you their problems and friends seeking you out for counsel regularly, and this was beginning even back when you were young. You were advanced as a young child, speaking, reading, walking earlier than normal. Some may have described you as a precocious child, unafraid to speak your mind. You have had trouble sleeping most of your life, whether it was due to insomnia or fears that reared their head at night. Visions you see at night don't help the sleeplessness. You may have felt great despair or depression in your life, often connected to a desire to want to go home. Life here feels so very wrong. You have difficulty understanding the employment system. You may wonder why you would want to spend your life doing something you hate so that you can spend all your money paying off your debts, so that you can be like everyone. None of this makes any sense to you. You'd rather be poor than a slave to such a system, which may result in others seeing you as lazy, even if this isn't the case. Most of these applied to me. I've known for a long time that I was a wanderer soul. And I'm pretty sure that my soul came from sixth density, which is where there is no polarity. There is only one. And in future videos, I'm going to talk about how I learned about all of this through reading a remarkable series of books, channeled books, called The Law of One. So that's it for today.